Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I appreciate you joining me today. Today I wanted to do a which shoe for you comparison between my two favorite trail shoes currently. I have the Altra Lone Peak 7 and the Topo Terraventure 4. They both have some similarities, but they have some differences. First, I will talk a little bit about the Altra Lone Peak 7. I've had it for I think about 11 months now. Neither one of these shoes, both these shoes I have between 60 and 100 miles on. I should have a lot more on them, but I have not really been getting out to the trails a whole lot. Hopefully I'll put a lot more miles on them in the next year, but I just wanted to give you a comparison and tell you why I like these shoes. The Lone Peak 7 has a nice upper on it that's seamless. It's got a little bit of toe protection up here. It's probably my fourth pair of Lone Peaks. The Lone Peaks have been kind of my main trail shoe for several years. It's got a 25 millimeter stack height Ego midsole, which has some bounce to it, but and also still feels fairly cushioned enough. I find you don't really need as much cushion on the trail because you're on the dirt anyway. But I do like a little bit of rock protection. This does have a rock plate in the forefoot, which protects you against a really sharp rock. You'll still feel underfoot feeling, but you won't feel a real sharp sensation if you step on a sharp rock. So that has worked extremely well for me over the years. The tongue is not gusseted, but it's got a nice loop that goes through it that holds it in place. It's well cushioned. The laces in this version of Altra shoe are not too long. It's got a hook in the front. It doesn't have the metal hook anymore, but it's got a place for the laces where you can hook your trail gaiters to it. It's got a nice pull tab in the back and even a pull tab on the tongue to help you get the shoes on, which is actually pretty nice when you're in an ultra run and your hands get pretty tired. It's got the gaiter attachment on the back, which I find nice. I do like using trail gaiters quite a bit because I tend to kick little rocks up into my shoes. So that's a good thing for me. It's got their Max Track outsole, which I don't think has been over the years as grippy as, say, a Vibram outsole, but they wear pretty well. I usually get around 400 miles out of my Lone Peaks, which is fine. And this year in the Lone Peak 7, they made the Max Track outsole a little bit softer. So I think the grip has improved. The lugs are deep enough to work in most conditions. And the pattern, it works really well. I think the grip has been very, very good in these. I enjoy them. I think they breathe pretty well. There aren't really any holes for them, but this upper is thin enough that I think it lets air in and out. And I think they drain pretty well. So I've been happy with my Lone Peak 7s. My other favorite shoe is the Topo Terraventure 4. Now these are a little bit newer to me, but I have really enjoyed these. I've become kind of a fan of Topo in the last year. These also have a mesh upper. It seems a little sturdier and tougher. I'm not quite sure if it breathes quite as well as the Lone Peaks, but I haven't had any issues with it at all yet. And I did run with it some in the summer. I just didn't do any real long runs. I do think the toe protection is a little bit more sturdy. It's still nice and cushioned around the heel collar, a nice cushioned tongue. It again doesn't have a gusseted tongue, but it uses Topo's little loops that go through the laces to hold it to the tongue. I call them lace stays or whatever. I'm not exactly sure what the official name is, but they work really well keeping it in position. Now Topo does include the little metal hook on the front for attaching your gaiters. They're actually made with their little holes to hook the Topo gaiters to. I still prefer, I have used like Dirty Girl gaiters for years, which are very similar to the Altra gaiters. So I just added a little bit of Velcro back here, and now they attach perfectly just like they would on my previous shoes or what like I do with my Altras. So anyway, these shoes do have a bit more arch support than like my Altra Lone Peaks. I find them extremely comfortable. I love the fit of Topos. They've still got the nice wide toe box like the Altra, but just a very nice fit. These have a 25 millimeter stack height in the heel and a 22 millimeter stack height in the forefoot. So it's pretty similar to the 25 millimeters that came in the Altra Lone Peak. This does come with Topo Zip foam, so it's an EVA based foam, but I find it extremely comfortable, and it's plenty cushioned, especially like I said, you're on the trail, so you're on a dirt surface anyway. So I've enjoyed these shoes. Now the biggest selling point I have above on these versus my Altras is they do use the Vibram Mega Grip outsole, which I just think is one of the best outsoles in the business. It's very grippy. I think the Vibram tends to last a little longer than most outsoles, and I've really enjoyed these shoes so far. Anyway, so those are really my two favorites. The only thing I don't know about these is if they will drain quite as well. I haven't had them in real muddy conditions, so I'm not sure they'll drain quite as well as my Lone Peak 7s, but the comfort is great, and I think I would even give them an edge on grippiness. So both very good shoes. Both would work for you. I think if you're maybe in more technical terrain and you're not worried about whether it drains quite as well, I might lean toward the Topo. Solid shoe that'll work in about any condition. The Lone Peak 7s. There is a little bit of difference if you don't like zero drop. These have a 3 millimeter drop. The Altras have a 0 millimeter drop. I'm one of the people that converted to 0 millimeter drops several years ago, but I feel really comfortable in anything between a 0 and a 6 millimeter drop. So you are coming. A lot of people like the higher drops, and there's no problem with that as long as you don't have injury issues. I tended to overstride and get myself injured, so that's why I kind of have stuck to lower drop shoes. But each to their own, and what works for you is, a lot of people can run in any drop and do fine, so I have no trouble with that. It's great if you can. Anyway, they're both very grippy shoes. They both have pretty good outsoles. Anyway, both good, really good trail shoes. Some people might prefer in a really long race more cushion. I just don't find that on the trails that I need to do that much. But anyway, that's just my thoughts and why you might choose one or the other. If you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting the thumbs up, the like button. If you're interested in more of my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. And other than that, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and keep moving.